The first car on our list of smart investments is the Plymouth GTX 440. While it may not have been as common as the budget-friendly Roadrunner, the GTX remains one of the most iconic nameplates of all time. Often called the gentleman's muscle car, it never quite got the mass-market attention of its siblings, but it could definitely hold its own on the track. With a standard 440 cubic inch V8 engine, the GTX delivered a massive 375 horsepower, proving it was far more than your average muscle car. The styling was sharper and more upscale than many competitors from this era, offering premium performance with a refined edge. Back in 1968, you could drive this powerhouse off the lot for a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $3,329. Nowadays, the Plymouth GTX 440 has become a coveted collector's item. In a world of overpriced muscle cars, it represents a vehicle that is still worth buying, offering genuine rarity and value that continues to appreciate. Next on our list is a car that often falls into the avoid category, yet remains a fascinating piece of history: the Plymouth Cricket. You have likely never heard of this model, and that is largely because it failed to capture the American market. As fuel prices began to skyrocket, Chrysler introduced this compact import to compete with a new wave of economy rivals. When it arrived in 1971, the Plymouth Cricket carried a manufacturer's suggested retail price of roughly $1,915. It offered respectable handling and a distinct British design. However, you will seldom see a Cricket on the road nowadays. They were notorious for reliability issues and lackluster build quality, which is why most enthusiasts steer clear. But here is the counterpoint. Its rarity today makes it a unique proposition. While it is not a muscle car in the traditional sense, with the right aftermarket add-ons and some Mopar magic, it can be transformed into a one-of-a-kind sports car. It is arguably one of the most underrated projects for a mechanic looking to stand out. If you find this obscure model interesting, please comment number 1 to support I Love Muscle Cars. Most people associate the Magnum nameplate with the station wagon from the mid-2000s, but the true Mopar lineage traces back to the disco era. We are talking about the Dodge Magnum, a short-lived model produced from 1978 to 1979. This was a massive personal luxury coupe sitting on a 114.9-inch wheelbase, designed to do battle with rivals like the Chevrolet Monte Carlo. When it debuted in 1978, this aerodynamic beast carried a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $5,448. At the time, the B platform was aging, and sales were lukewarm as buyers shifted towards smaller, more fuel-efficient cars. However, that lack of popularity back then makes it a hidden gem today. For the current generation of enthusiasts, the Dodge Magnum is definitely worth buying. It provides a sturdy, rear-wheel drive platform and classic V8 thunder for a fraction of the cost of a golden-era muscle car. It is a respectable, affordable entry point into the world of Mopar muscle. Please comment number 2 if you do not like this video. We always value your opinion. We have a luxury heavy hitter that sits on the fence between a classic to buy and a cautionary tale: the Chrysler Imperial. Specifically looking at the early 80s models, this car was a bold, last-ditch effort by Chrysler to reinvigorate sales during a financial downward spiral. Unlike the shared platforms of the time, the Imperial boasted a separate design philosophy, aiming for ultimate opacity and comfort. When this polarizing coupe arrived in 1981, it carried an eye-watering manufacturer's suggested retail price of $18,311. That was a serious investment for a car whose bustleback styling was not well received by the general public, leading to sluggish sales. However, in the modern muscle car world, the Imperial is becoming highly sought after. Why? Because underneath that controversial skin lies a durable, rear-wheel drive chassis that is surprisingly easy to build on. With a large aftermarket community offering support, parts, and engine swap solutions, this luxurious barge is now a worth-buying candidate for those wanting a unique, sinister Mopar cruiser. Although the Plymouth brand sadly vanished by 2001, it left behind a legacy of impressive machinery. One specific model that is currently a smart pick for the budget-conscious collector is the Plymouth Belvedere Roadrunner. Released in the mid-70s, This car attempted to keep the muscle car spirit alive during a changing automotive landscape. Stylistically, it fit right in with the times, featuring bold graphics and top options. Under the hood, it was powered by a V8 engine that delivered reasonable horsepower for the era. When it debuted in 1976, you could pick up this decal-clad coupe for a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $4,000. While the Velare did not sell in massive numbers initially due to stiff competition, it has since matured into a unique collector's item. It offers the classic Mopar look and sound, without the astronomical price tag of earlier models, making it definitely worth buying today. Before the nameplate was slapped onto a rebadged SUV, it belonged to a legitimate late 70s contender, the Dodge Aspen RT. While the golden age of muscle was fading, this car offered a unique style that defied the dull designs of the era. Under the hood, the available 360 cubic inch V8 was a standout performer for its time. Producing 170 horsepower, it provided a respectable balance of torque and drivability. When this package hit the streets around 1977, it carried a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $4,400. Although sales were modest back then, the Dodge Aspen RT has recently seen a surge in appreciation. As the muscle car bubble drives prices up, this model remains a solid investment. It is a prime example of Mopar muscle surviving the malaise era, making it a classic that is still definitely worth buying. While most people associate the Ram Charger nameplate with the boxy SUV from the 80s, its legacy began much earlier as a pioneering force in Mopar performance. We are looking at the Dodge 330 Ram Charger. This was one of the first true muscle cars, serving as the launchpad for Chrysler's dominance on the drag strip. At the heart of this beast lay the legendary 413 cubic inch Max Wedge V8, producing a staggering 425 horsepower as standard equipment. It was widely regarded as one of the most reliable high-performance power plants of its time. Back in 1963, you could secure this race-ready machine for a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $2,900. Today, the Dodge 330 Ram Charger is an exceptionally rare find compared to the mass-produced models that followed. If you manage to find one, do not hesitate. It is a worth-buying gem that perfectly captures the dawn of the muscle car era. While later generations earned a reputation as the backbone of police fleets, the 1965 Dodge Coronet was born with a different purpose: speed. Returning to the lineup on a lightweight mid-size platform, this car became an instant favorite for hot rod builders and drag racers who understood that less weight meant faster quarter-mile times. With a potent V8 under the hood, this unassuming sleeper could embarrass much flashier cars on the track. In 1965, you could pick up this performance bargain for a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $2,680. Its racing success established a legacy that many overlook today. In a market filled with overpriced Chargers, the Dodge Coronet remains a worth-buying hidden gem, offering that authentic, lightweight rear-wheel drive experience and infinite tuning potential for a fraction of the cost. Sharing its heavy-duty body DNA with the Dodge Coronet, the Plymouth Belvedere is a certified legend that absolutely belongs on your worth-buying list. While the Dodge sibling often gets the limelight, the Belvedere was the weapon of choice for racing royalty like Richard Petty, helping to cement the Mopar legacy on the oval tracks. The secret to its success was its lightweight architecture. When paired with a robust V8 engine, this car offered explosive performance and reliability. Back in 1965, you could park this piece of engineering in your driveway for a manufacturer's suggested retail price of roughly $2,650. It was a bargain for a machine so capable that even police agencies adopted it for their fleets. Today, the Plymouth Belvedere holds a special mystique. Because it did not sell in the same massive numbers as the Coronet back in the day, finding a clean example now is a rare treat. It offers that authentic, high-performance experience with a level of exclusivity that makes it a fantastic investment in the current collector market. If you have noticed a heavy Plymouth presence on our list, it is because Mopar defined the muscle car industry. Standing tall among them is the Plymouth Barracuda 426 Hemi. While the standard models were excellent street cars, the limited-run Hemi models of 1968 were factory-built drag racers designed to dominate the superstock class. Powered by the legendary 426 cubic-inch Hemi V8, this fastback was a serious piece of machinery. In 1968, getting your hands on one of these race-bred monsters meant paying a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $4,200. That was a significant premium over the standard models, but it bought you immediate track dominance. Today, this car is a blue-chip investment. The 1968 Hemi Barracuda has seen its value steadily climb over the last 2 decades, far outperforming the stock market. With its iconic fastback styling and the massive support of the aftermarket community, adding this Mopar legend to your garage is one of the smartest financial moves a collector can make. When you hear the name Chrysler New Yorker, you likely picture a luxury barge, not a quarter-mile contender. However, do not let the chrome and leather fool you. This car is a legitimate muscle car wearing a tuxedo. Historically, the New Yorker was the recipient of Chrysler's most potent engineering, sharing DNA with the legendary endurance racers that once averaged 118 miles per hour for 24 hours straight. Take the 1964 model as a prime example. Under the expansive hood sat a standard 413 cubic-inch V8, delivering massive torque that could shame many sports cars of the era. Back then, you could purchase this blend of executive comfort and raw power for a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $3,936. Today, the Chrysler New Yorker is a certified worth-buying candidate. While prices for two-door muscle cars have exploded, this model remains an attainable entry point into the world of big-block Mopar power. The engine bay is cavernous, making it incredibly easy to modify or update with modern power plants. It is the perfect choice for the enthusiast who wants to stand out from the crowd of Chargers and Challengers. While the Chrysler 300 is a familiar sight on roads today, its lineage traces back to a true automotive aristocrat, the 1955 Chrysler C300. This is not just another classic. It is widely considered by historians to be the very first American muscle car, kicking off the legendary letter series that would dominate the next decade. At the heart of this beast was the celebrated 331 cubic-inch Hemi V8 firepower Hemi. In an era where most cars were modest cruisers, this engine churned out 300 horsepower, making it the most powerful American car of its year. To park this pinnacle of engineering in your driveway in 1955, you would have paid a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $4,110. Why is it worth buying now? Because the Chrysler C300 is the genesis of Mopar performance. It proved to be an excellent seller for the company and established the blueprint for high-performance coupes. Today, it offers a magnificent platform for hot rodding, combining timeless mid-century elegance with the raw Hemi power that defined a generation. It is a foundational piece for any serious collection. Most enthusiasts instantly recognize the Plymouth Fury as the malevolent star of the horror film Christine. But look past the Hollywood possession, and you find a legitimate performance machine that offered incredible value. While the movie made the 1958 model famous, the Fury lineup consistently delivered serious power. Motivating this large platform was a potent engine option, capable of producing a robust 305 horsepower. Even though this particular V8 was not a Hemi, it did an exceptional job of propelling the massive sedan and coupe bodies with authority. When this finned beauty rolled off the line in the late 50s, it carried a manufacturer's suggested retail price of roughly $3,067. Today, the Plymouth Fury is experiencing a massive resurgence in the collector market. Finding a clean example is becoming an increasingly difficult task, which is driving values higher every year. Whether you want to relive a movie fantasy or own a piece of peak mid-century design, this is a Mopar that is absolutely worth buying before they all disappear. While the modern iteration of the Dart is remembered as a commercial flop that cost the company billions, do not let that tarnish the legacy of the original street terror, the Dodge Dart 413 Max Wedge. In 1962, Dodge perfected the timeless hot rod formula by dropping a massive power plant into a lightweight unibody chassis, creating an absolute monster. At the heart of this beast was the legendary 413 cubic inch Ramcharger V8. This was not a standard commuter engine. It was a race-bred motor designed to dominate the superstock class. Back in 1962, you could secure this factory-built dragster for a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $3,100. That price was a steal for a car that could humiliate almost anything else on the road. Today, because of its successful run on the racing circuit and low production numbers, the Dodge Dart 413 Max Wedge is one of the rarest models you can find. It is a blue-chip investment that is undeniably worth buying for the serious collector who values raw performance history. Unlike the four-door sedans we see on the roads today, the original lineage was a purebred muscle machine built on the famous Chrysler B platform. Specifically, the Dodge Charger 426 Hemi stands as the undisputed king of this era. With its sleek Coke bottle styling and hidden headlights, it defined the golden age of American performance. Under the hood, the legendary 426 cubic inch Hemi V8 motivated the car with absolute authority, offering performance that was equally at home on the drag strip or the city streets. Back in 1968, you could secure this high-performance icon for a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $3,480. While it was undeniably a gas hog, a trait that hurt the brand when fuel prices spiked in the 1970s, that unquenchable thirst is exactly what collectors love today. It represents an era of unapologetic power. With a vast array of high-impact paint options and an aggressive stance, the Dodge Charger 426 Hemi is not just a car. It is a blue-chip investment that is unequivocally worth buying. Right before soaring gas prices suffocated the golden age of performance, Mopar unleashed one of the most extreme factory creations ever built, the Dodge Hemi Dart LO23 Superstock. This was not your average commuter. It was a purpose-built race car that consumers could technically buy from the dealership, designed with one goal: total domination on the drag strip. The formula was simple yet terrifying. Dodge took their lightest compact platform and shoehorned the massive 426 Hemi engine under the fiberglass hood. Back in 1968, this level of factory-backed insanity carried a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $4,200. While that was a steep price at the time, it bought you the fastest accelerating car in the world. Today, the Dodge Hemi Dart LO23 Superstock is the holy grail of A-body Mopars. Because they were built in incredibly limited numbers and lived their lives on the track, finding a genuine survivor is rare. If you have the capital, this is a blue-chip asset that is unequivocally worth buying. While the standard Coronet was earning a reputation as a reliable police cruiser, Dodge unleashed a rebellious sibling to capture the budget muscle market, the Dodge Super B 383. Based on the sturdy Coronet platform, this car was Dodge's answer to the Plymouth Roadrunner, offering stripped-down performance with maximum attitude. Standard equipment included the heavy-duty suspension and the potent 383 cubic inch Magnum V8 engine. This setup delivered serious street cred without breaking the bank. When it buzzed into showrooms in early 1968, you could drive this brawler home for a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $3,027. Today, the Dodge Super B 383 is considered one of the most desirable iterations of the Coronet family. Because it was often driven hard and put away wet, finding a clean example is becoming increasingly rare. Its aggressive stance and iconic B-tail stripe have aged beautifully, making it a standout investment that is undeniably worth buying in the current classic car market. If there is one car that defines the absolute pinnacle of Mopar collectability, it is the Dodge Charger Daytona. Born from the fierce aero wars of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing circuit, this winged warrior was built with one singular purpose: to dominate the superspeedways. While the standard Charger was already a hit, the Daytona added a massive rear wing and an aerodynamic nose cone, creating the most radical profile of the era. Under the hood, the standard power came from the reliable 440 Magnum V8. However, for the ultimate enthusiast, a limited run of just 70 units left the factory equipped with the legendary 426 Hemi. When this homologation special hit the showrooms in 1969, it carried a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $3,993. Today, Calling the Dodge Charger Daytona worth buying is an understatement. It is an investment in American history, whether equipped with the 440 Magnum or the ultra-rare 426 Hemi. These cars have seen their values skyrocket, cementing their status as one of the most significant muscle cars ever produced. If the Charger Daytona was the pioneer, our next entry is the perfected weapon that cemented the Mopar legacy in the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing. We are talking about the iconic Plymouth Roadrunner Superbird. This aerodynamic marvel was not just built for speed. It was specifically engineered to lure King Richard Petty back to the Plymouth team, resulting in a machine that dominated the oval tracks. While many came with the 440 cubic inch V8, the ultimate prize was the version equipped with the legendary 426 Hemi. When this winged warrior arrived in 1970, it carried a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $4,298. Ironically, many of these cars sat unsold on dealer lots because the styling was considered too radical for the time. Today, that script has completely flipped. The Plymouth Roadrunner Superbird is now one of the most sought-after muscle cars on the planet. Its value has appreciated consistently, making it not just a car, but a high-yield asset. For the serious investor, this is arguably the most significant car on our worth-buying list. The 1970s marked a pivotal moment for SCCA racing, and Mopar responded with a street-legal track weapon, the Plymouth CUDA AAR 340. This was effectively a production race car designed to homologate the model for Trans Am competition. It featured lightweight fiberglass components and a distinct, aggressive look that set it apart from the standard lineup. Powering this machine was a high-revving 340 cubic inch V8 six-pack, widely regarded as one of the most responsive small blocks Chrysler ever offered. When this special edition arrived in 1970, it carried a manufacturer's suggested retail price of roughly $3,966. With a total production run of just 2,724 units, the AAR is far rarer than many of its big block siblings. Features like the functional hood scoop, matte black hood, and side exit exhaust make it instantly recognizable. In today's market, where rarity drives value, the Plymouth CUDA AAR 340 is a blue-chip investment that is absolutely worth buying for the discerning collector. Shifting gears to the avoid category, we have a rare but problematic giant, the Chrysler 300 Hearst. While rarity usually drives desire, in this case, it often leads to frustration. Produced in extremely limited numbers in 1970, this massive vehicle attempted to blend executive luxury with muscle car attitude. But the execution left much to be desired. Under the expansive fiberglass hood sat the 440 cubic inch TNT V8, producing 375 horsepower. While powerful, the engine struggled to make this heavy C-body feel agile. When released, it carried a premium manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $5,900. So why avoid it? The styling is a confusing mix of limousine and drag racer that does not quite work. More importantly, with less than 500 units ever built, finding specific body parts, like the custom trunk lid or hood, is a restoration nightmare. Unless you are a die-hard completist, there are far better, easier-to-maintain options on the market for the same price. Next on our list of cars to approach with caution is the Plymouth Duster 340. While it has a loyal following, this model lands in our avoid category, primarily due to the realities of its construction. Marketed as a junior muscle car to combat rising insurance rates and fuel concerns, it was built on a strict budget. When it debuted in 1970, it carried a very low manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $2,547. While that price was attractive back then, it meant the build quality was often compromised. The sheet metal was thin, and the rust proofing was virtually non-existent, making these cars notorious for rotting away faster than their owners could pay them off. Although the 340 cubic inch V8 was rated at a respectable 275 horsepower, the chassis often felt overwhelmed and flimsy compared to the sturdier body muscle cars. Today, finding a Plymouth Duster 340 that is not hiding serious structural issues or cheap repairs is incredibly difficult. Unless you are a master metalworker, this bargain muscle car can quickly become a money pit. Continuing our list of Mopars to steer clear of, we have a massive vessel that tried to pass as a performance car, the Plymouth Fury GT. In the early 70s, Plymouth attempted to court muscle car buyers who needed more space, but the result was a confused giant. Under the hood, it boasted the respectable 440 cubic inch V8, paired with the bulletproof 727 torque flight automatic transmission. On paper, that sounds great. Back in 1970, this luxury muscle hybrid carried a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $3,760. However, do not let the specs fool you. The sheer weight of this full-size C-body platform suffocated the performance, making it sluggish compared to its lighter siblings. The Plymouth Fury GT suffers from fuselage styling that, while unique, makes restoration a nightmare due to a severe lack of reproduction body parts. It occupies an awkward middle ground, too harsh to be a proper luxury cruiser, yet too heavy to be a true muscle car. Unless you enjoy driving a land yacht that handles like a boat, there are far better performance cars from this generation to spend your money on. Definitely avoid this one. Rounding out our list of vehicles to avoid is a pioneer that unfortunately missed the mark. The Dodge Lil Red Express truck. Long before the modern obsession with performance pickups like the Ram TRX or Ford Raptor, Dodge attempted to shove a muscle car spirit into a utilitarian body. Under the hood, it featured a modified 360 cubic inch V8, which was actually a high point for the era. When this flashy truck arrived in 1978, it carried a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $7,422. While that bought you the fastest American vehicle to 100 miles per hour that year, the ownership experience today is a different story. Reliability was minuscule at best, suffering from the notorious build quality issues of the late 70s. Furthermore, the styling was incredibly limiting. Those signature vertical smokestacks, designed to replicate a semi-truck, cut into the bed space, making it practically useless as a truck. It was a valiant effort, but the Dodge Lil Red Express truck is a novelty that often lacks the practicality and durability you expect from a performance vehicle. Finally, we have a car that proves horsepower isn't everything. The 1962 Plymouth Savoy Superstock 413. While it shared the same mechanical DNA as the legendary Dodge Dart Max Wedge, this Plymouth sibling suffers from shortcomings that land it firmly in our avoid category. The most glaring issue is the styling. To put it bluntly, the 1962 design language was awkward and controversial even when it was new. Mechanically, it utilized the 413 cubic inch Max Wedge V8. When this oddball hit the dealership floors, it carried a manufacturer's suggested retail price of approximately $2,965. While that bought you race-winning performance, the car failed to differentiate itself enough from its Dodge counterpart to garner the same respect. Owning one today is a headache. The 413 Max Wedge is a temperamental beast that is expensive to tune and repair. Coupled with the difficulty of finding body parts for this specific year and the polarizing looks, the Plymouth Savoy Superstock 413 is a classic case of a car that is better left in the history books than in your garage.